Good morning and a happy new year, Service
Happy
Lines
New
community.
Year. Yeah, we are the first podcast of the year, Mike Carson. I'm excited about this.
Yeah. Well, not Zach and Doug were on yesterday, actually.
Oh, I missed it.
They had a whopping 0 viewers. I don't know if anybody joined later, but they started out
We're gonna change it. Man, I was
pretty light,
so
so.
pumped about being the first. Oh well.
But I mean, it's New Year's, New Year's Day. Who's awake on New
Yeah.
Year's Day that early in the morning? So it makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't.
So let's say hi to some people. We got some viewers. Hello, Jason.
Hey,
Let's say hi to you.
I already got it shared.
We got Orkin. Happy New Year, everybody. Jojo,
JoJo's.
Happy New Year.
JoJo's are good.
Adam, good morning. All right. Today, we're going to be talking about navigating rising costs in your service business.
Yep.
Good morning, Rob.
Now I'm thinking
Thanks for
about
stopping
JoJo's.
by. Today's
had-
like the first official work day of the year.
It is. Yeah.
Like, man, we've got a lot of work days to go this year. And
yes, and we
this
have a
is
leap year.
day one.
Leap year, so we get an extra work day to make it even more special year.
Yeah, that's a good point. We get an extra day to work. Rah rah.
I'm still stuck on thinking about wanting some JoJo's now. So thanks. Have you ever had JoJo's?
No,
No? Okay.
I have not.
They're kind of like a potato wedge in a way. I don't know. It depends on what restaurant you get them from. But yeah. Interesting.
Someday.
Hey, when you and EJ come visit, and anybody else sometime this year, you're more than welcome. I will get us some JoJo's from somewhere.
All right. Sounds good.
Okay.
Like Adam says, the kids still have off school. Those kids, they get so many breaks.
Stinking kids.
So many breaks.
I tell you what.
My daughter doesn't go back to school until like the 17th, for college. And I'm like, for college? Like, you should be in there all the time.
Yeah, right. I gotta ask Noni when she goes back. I don't even know. I want to say it's like the 7th. What's the 7th? I don't know. What the 7th is.
I don't know.
For some reason that comes up in my head. So
whatever.
Hey, how was your New Year's? What'd you do for New Year's Day?
What did I do? I did absolutely nothing. We just binge watched some shows, and that's about it.
That's cool. What shows are you into?
We just been watching some Netflix stuff. Yeah. Just whatever we can find.
Gotcha.
We literally just couch potatoed it up yesterday.
Sometimes you gotta do that.
Yeah, it was nice. I was like, I actually had an actual full day off. I didn't touch my computer other than wiping out emails from my phone yesterday, but it was my first day off in many months.
Congratulations. Yeah. Take more days off and go play some Q*bert. That's what your background reminds me of, Q*bert.
Q*bert. Yeah, I could do Q*bert. That's a good.
I actually watched the entire Rose Parade yesterday. I have never done that. And Shayna was still sleeping, so she got up about midway through it. But watched the entire Rose Parade and then started watching some of the Citrus Bowl. And of course, Victoria and Shayna got up and they don't like football, so we ended up going and taking down the Christmas lights outside. So, and then Shayna and I went and saw the movie The Boys in the Boat, I think is the title of it. The Boys in the Boat.
Hadn't heard of it.
Pretty good. It's about an 8-man team back in 1936 that ended up going to the Olympics. It's a rowing team, right, from college. So Washington. They're from University of Washington, I think it was back then. It's pretty cool. Especially, during that time, Great Depression, big things happened. We were getting ready to go to war again, but I don't think too many people saw that. But those aspects. But yeah, it's kind of a cool movie. It's one of those that I don't know if I go, pay $25 to go see it in the movies again. But
Yeah.
courses that were on the movie theater, and it was just me and Shayna. It's like, all right, we go see a cheesy love movie that doesn't look good, or we go see the typical Aquaman thing. And it's like, yeah, let's just go see this one. So
Yeah.
we got some sushi beforehand. So, anybody who wants to get on Shayna's good side, he loves sushi. Just saying.
I wouldn't want to be on her bad side. All right. Well, I did not bring any verse today, so I'll just pray it up and we'll get right into the topic. I was running a little late, as was Jason, so we had little delays, and I was a little more unprepared than usual.
Well, you know me, I'll try to find something quick.
All right, so let me pray us in, and then we'll get into it. Dear Heavenly Father, I want to thank you for this day. Thank you for this new year, full of opportunities, full of so many things that you have in store for us. Allow us to move forward throughout the year, representing you and being the light to the world on your behalf, Lord. It's in Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Amen. Right. Well, Ephesians 4:20 actually was the first one to come up, and I just typed in, what's the Bible say about navigating change, right? Because we got a whole new year coming up. We got some change that's going to happen, I'm sure, for a lot of companies. And so Ephesians 4:20 through 24 comes up, says, you were taught with regard to your former way of life to put off your old self, which is being corrupted by its deceitful desires, to be made new in the new attitude of your minds, and to put on the new self, created to be like God in true righteousness and holiness. I think that's a pretty good verse to go into the new year with, right?
Yeah.
Talking about getting rid of the old, putting on the new.
Sometimes you got to do that, right?
Good stuff. Good stuff.
Awesome. Let's say hi to some more people. Sean, good morning from Vulcan Lockring.
Hello,
good to see you.
Lockring.
Glad to have you here. All right.
Pretty cool.
Let's get into the topic. Navigating rising costs in 2024.
Yeah.
I was trying to think of some topics to talk about this morning, and I'm like, you know what? Everything's going up.
Yep.
And recently I got an email. What was it, from Amazon Prime? Now they're going to be having ads. And if you want to get rid of the ads, you got to pay $2.99 additional a month. And I'm like, man, they're like just finding ways to like give you more and more opportunity to pay them more and more. So I was like, man, what else is going to go up,
Yep.
And they just raised their prices for their yearly subscription. So I was like, dang, like they're getting ad revenue and they raise their prices, and now they're asking for more to replace the ads. So then that got me thinking. That was almost a week ago I got that email, and then I got a few other emails, and I'm like, man, everything's just going up. And I don't know about you, I haven't raised my prices in at least probably 5 years.
Yeah.
It was definitely pre-COVID. And before that, it had been 10 years.
Wow. Yeah, that's definitely one way you can navigate rising costs, is rework your pricing strategy, right? So you've raised your prices finally. Congratulations, everybody in the appliance world. Today is January 2nd. it's time to have a rent raising party and raise all your prices at least 5 to 10%, right? How many customers will you lose if you raise your prices 10% today? Like when you go out and start running calls, instead of it being $150, if it's $165, how many customers will you lose? How many customers will even notice if you've raised your prices? If you don't tell them, they won't notice. But I don't think you'll lose that many, if any, just by raising them 10%.
Yeah. Just like
That's
Paul
an easy
said,
way.
I have to agree with Paul here. Zero.
Yeah. So I think it's time to raise your prices. You're worth it. We're actually restructuring a little bit this year and adding a lower tier cost to our pricing plan because I feel like we're missing a huge market potential. And so we've got some things rolling out here first quarter that we're going to be offering to as a lower tier for those guys who really do just want. Jane just walked in, answering service.
So I mean, there's different ways that you could increase costs, right?
Yeah.
You could keep your price the same and just not change anything on what that has to offer. But I mean, no change is no reward ever, right? And at that point, it's at some point you're going to hit that tipping point where you start losing money by not raising your prices.
Yeah.
All right. So you can do that. That's option one. Option two would be keep the price the same, but offer less. Okay. Think of a restaurant. They got the price of that plate is the same, but the portion size is smaller.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So that's one way of increasing some revenue. Or you keep that portion size the same and you raise the price. Okay. Now what type of things are people going to notice the most? They're going to notice that price increase probably the most.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's a lot of restaurants around here in my area that I have noticed the portion sizes are getting smaller.
Yeah.
Plus they're getting more expensive. So it's like a double whammy. You think that doesn't get noticed? It gets noticed.
Well, we walked into Yamamato's last night. It's Shayna's favorite sushi place. And on their door, they even had, you saying that just triggered this. On their door, they had a little thing effective January 1. We will have a small price increase to help cover our rising costs. So even on our favorite sushi place, they even have that. So funny you say that. You can always, I don't know. I totally agree with you. Raising costs, adding additional services. So when I was running service calls, it was for the $89 because nobody in my area as an electrician ever charged a dispatch fee. And so for us, it was tough to, in the very beginning, I don't want to say fight that, but really help people understand the benefit of it, right? And so we're doing a free safety evaluation that's included with every dispatch fee. Is the easy way we sold it. On our sales script today, we have it. It's more flashy how we say it, but so we're giving them something even in return for that. For you guys in the appliance world, you often waive your dispatch fee. Well, when we come out there, the diagnostic fee is this, and what we're going to do is this. And if you decide to move forward with work, we're going to waive that diagnostic fee or roll it into. It depends on. We have so many different terminologies that you guys use, but so giving something, I think, is a good benefit. Raising your cost and giving something small that really doesn't cost you anything is a huge way. I think that's a great compromise there.
So, how do you optimize for these rising costs? That's the real meat and potatoes of this topic, right?
Yeah.
And I can't talk about navigating rising costs without talking about optimizing and managing your current costs, right? anybody can raise their prices. You can raise your prices, but if you're not managing that money, in your actual spending and your vendor choices, then it's kind of fruitless, right? So if all right, so what if you're worried about raising your prices, what's the first thing you need to do? You gotta optimize your spend and lower that as much as possible. And how do you do that? You've only got parts and labor to choose from. Your materials and parts, and then you got labor. So the first thing that you should do is, and the easiest, in my opinion, is optimize your parts costs. Shop price your vendors. Get new vendors if you have to. Try new vendors. Get into different programs that are going to get you those big deals and those discounts.
Yeah.
That's number one. That can move the needle somewhat significantly. And the second thing is optimizing your people costs. Do you really need someone full time, or do you just need someone part time?
You can definitely
as many
outsource some
people
of
as
that
you
stuff.
have. Are there things that people are doing that you can outsource? That would be cheaper.
I'll definitely agree to that. Yes, there is.
Yeah, I'm sure you would. But it could be multiple things. It could be a lot of different things. Could you outsource a certain part of your business and then have that same person still employed, but reassign them different tasks? That maybe they're much more efficient at and going to produce you more income. Things like that. So I would definitely start with alternative sourcing for those areas, because I think anything within that, it's going to immediately make an impact on your business.
Yeah, I agree. Definitely outsourcing. That's what we're there for. I'm just gonna shameless plug. That's what we're there for. We can take a lot off your plates by answering your phones and more. So that's an easy one for us to say. Yes, outsource, but you got to make sense. It's got to make sense, though. I will say, I don't think every company needs to outsource everything. I mean, there are definitely some things you can. Phones, that's an easy one. I mean, who wants to be in the middle of tearing out a compressor, putting a compressor back in a refrigerator, and have to stop to answer a phone call and book a call, right? So that's what we're there for. That's what we do. We can take that off your plate so you can keep doing what you do best.
Right.
So
your another thing you can watch is your inventory management. There's so many business owners out there that just have a pile of parts and they keep ordering new ones, even though they have one in stock, and don't even realize that they have one in stock.
I tell you, that's okay. When Shane and I took over the business from her parents, it was a mess. Like parts wise, we had 1,000 square foot warehouse, and the shelves were stocked full of stuff that Roy had bought from 20 years before, even. Like he never went through stuff. So I'm going to tell you right now, I totally agree with this one, Mike. Go through your shelves. If you have a storage building, if you have 2 or 3 vans, definitely get a system going with appliance. Many of the guys I've coached over the years, they'll probably tell you the number one thing I hound on is your truck inventory and getting that sucker right. Because when I sold my last service truck, the guy who bought it was like so impressed with how, and I'm like, yeah, I had 4 of these set up the exact same way. I knew what inventory was in my truck. I knew how much it cost. The whole bin, I could tell you how much that exact bin cost me. I had a spreadsheet. And what you're talking about shopping around, whenever I went to go shop around, I gave 3 different vendors. Here's what's in my truck right now. Tell me what your costs are going to be. And they just went down the spreadsheet and did that. So if you feel overwhelmed by that, there are definitely vendors out there that will help you with that process and even put barcodes and scanning devices and stuff like that. And if you think it's that tough, it really isn't that tough to get your inventory in check. I'm telling you firsthand, inventory is not an overwhelming thing. It seems like it at first, but once you get it, man, it just makes your life so much easier.
Well,
100%.
it's doing the initial big
Yeah.
inventory management and figuring everything out, what you got, and getting that organized. It's almost like a once and done thing,
Yeah.
that first time, and the
Well, the
rest is
biggest
just
part,
keeping up on it.
the biggest part is if you end up having a part, in my mind, sits on your truck for a year or more, get that part off your truck, right? It's something
Yeah,
that's going to be a few and far between part item. And it's just costing you money sitting there in your truck. Inventory looks better in $20 bills. Okay, let me say that again. Inventory looks better in $20 bills. The more $20 bills you have in the pocket, the better your inventory is going to look, right? So think about that. And the next time you're buying a part, you're at the store. Oh, you know what? I came across that, about 3 or 4 months ago. I might need that again. Don't buy it, right? It'll be there whenever you need that part, and then you can buy it, and then you can put it on your truck and use it.
yeah.
But yeah, that's a huge
Unless you're
one.
using something on average once every month,
Yeah,
probably might not want to stock it. So, all right.
Don't give me preaching on that one.
Yeah, I know exactly. Spend all day on that. Um, Waste reduction. What are you wasting money on? If you don't know where your money's going, how do you know if you're wasting it, right? A
Oh, that's
lot
a good one.
a lot of people don't realize where their money's going, whether it's subscriptions to certain things.
Yeah,
Just you're purchasing erratic things that don't need to be purchased, because it's just an impulse buy, something like
yeah.
that. So
Hmm.
I
That's a
guess
good one.
the impulse thing is a huge problem, and even last night I got a recurring subscription payment that's a monthly payment, and I'm like, crap, I completely forgot to cancel that last month. And it's like I've been paying for this for like a few months, and with the absolute best intentions on using the service, but I have never even touched it yet, never set it up. And I'm like, it's time to let this go, and then another month went by and I forgot about it again. So,
My camera went out of focus there for a second. Sorry.
I was like,
So
he's trying to poke me in the eye and shut me up.
yes, no, I was gonna say
Turn me
you're
off.
right. Keep preaching, Mike Carson. Keep preaching.
But I mean, those subscriptions, I mean, they pile up and you just
And
forget about them because it's all automated, right?
well, I mean, there's good automation and there's bad automation.
Exactly.
Automating subscriptions can be good, but then you click too many, and before you know it, you're paying $300 for something that you used to pay $100 for. But
Right.
automation can be a good thing. That's definitely one way that you could look at the strategy coming into the new year. How many of you have CRMs that you're not using to its full capacity, right? If you're using Housecall Pro or Jobber or Workies, are you actually utilizing them? I still talk to many appliance repair companies that they don't even have any kind of CRM. They're still pen and paper. That could be good. It could be bad, but think about how much easier your life has been, Mike, by automation in invoicing, in
Oh my
pricing.
gosh.
When
So
Housecall
much
Pro,
easier.
when we started with them in 2016 and I got my pricing structure all set up, man, it just made my life so much easier because it was oh yeah, I need this, this, and this. Click, click, click. It's added to the invoice. Okay, here's 3 options for you, 3 solutions that I can do for you. Which one works best for you? And it was a matter, literally, it would take me less than 10 minutes to come up with 3 solutions. And so when it comes to automation, there's so much you can do that can better your life. It can free up so much time. So if you don't have a CRM, definitely look into, and we've got partnerships with those 3 I mentioned and a couple more. But yeah, definitely automation is a huge one.
Yeah.
Not
I
just
mean,
automation.
just even me having a digital marketing agency, you'd think that everything would automatically be automated or online, things like that. And that was not the case.
Yeah.
I literally had a rack in my office on the wall, and every customer that came to me, I had a folder that of Word documents on my computer. And every customer, when they signed on with me, or I had a project that I was going to do, I had a series of documents that I would print, and I would print every contract that I sent them that they signed and sent me back. I'd print it out. Everything went in that folder, and I did everything really old school. And
I remember those days.
I did that up until like 7 years ago, and I finally just everything full force. I put my entire business in the cloud, online as much as I possibly could, and it was a big expense to do that all at once, within that 6-month period. But oh my God, it allowed me to automate so much.
Yeah.
And I could access everything that I needed anywhere in the world that I would go.
Yep. 100%.
Yeah. And it just made things so much easier. And I then had the ability to start offloading some of that to my employees. I'm like, you know what? Here's the access to the system. I need you to do XYZ. You can access it now.
And it can be very secure. Accessing it from employees, team members can be very secure. In the fact that
I mean, most things have roles and kind of like different levels of access. So that's not a problem.
Yeah.
It's just finding the solutions that work for you to do that.
Yeah. Personally, I like Dropbox, but business-wise, we use OneDrive for everything. And I know a lot of people are like, oh, Google Drive is the greatest way to go. A lot of my team doesn't even like Google Drive. So you got to find, like Mike said, what works best for you. 100% agree.
Yeah.
Tons of different ways.
Like my wife's organization, that everything's OneDrive and all Microsoft products.
Oh, all right. We're talking.
Everything for me is Google.
I thought you meant home. The home organization is completely different.
Oh, no, where she works. Like she just yesterday, she was on the computer screwing around with some Word stuff and Drive. And then she asked me about like Google Docs and stuff. She's like, I've never even really used it. And I'm like, well, I can show you real quick. And I'm like, it's way easier, and she started playing around with it and learning it. And she's like, oh, this is so much easier. And I'm like, yeah, that's why I use it. But it's just a matter of what you're used to and preferences.
Maybe Mike Carson can do a morning time Google Docs webinar and teach us all the ins and outs.
Oh, there's so much of that already out there. Anybody can look that up.
Yeah, but we trust Mike Carson.
I already got a course on managing SOPs with Google Docs in Service Alliance Group. So,
okay. Well, I'll have to check that one out.
All right. So how do you do the price adjustments without losing customers when you're looking at your prices and you're like, okay, I can't do any more changes. I've got to just adjust the prices across the board.
The funny thing is especially if you have a CRM, I know Housecall Pro has it. You go up there and how much do you want to raise your prices across the board? It's a simple click and it's done. None of your customers, unless they're a reoccurring customer that you have something you're doing with all the time, is not even going to notice. For me to go change my prices $10 on a GFCI, nobody's going to know except for me. And the fortunate thing is for a lot of owner operators, the only person you got to fight against a price increase is yourself. If you have 2, 3, 4 guys running trucks, they're the ones you're going to have to battle with a little bit, because if they're not bought in, you're going to have trouble there. I will tell you firsthand. I had as many as 10 guys and 6 trucks at one time, and raising prices at that point was a headache. But there's a way you can do it beforehand. You start letting them know, hey, come Q1, we're going to have some price changes. Let's start going over after that and talking about what that is now. So if you're those bigger shops that have multiple people, you got to have those conversations beforehand. But if it's just you, one or two other guys, That's an easy, Tuesday morning fix. Hey guys, here's what's going on. I made some changes in the pricing structure, and this is what we're looking at, and here's the reasons why. Right? Always being transparent, I think, is the best way to move forward when you're raising prices. But
Yeah.
again, for most of the guys, owner operators, the only person you're fighting against on the price change is yourself. Right? Let your people answering your phones do the job for you on selling your dispatch fees and getting you out there. If you don't have anybody doing that, when you're answering the phones, it's a simple, hey, here's how much it is, and I can come out there and get it fixed. That's that. That's it.
Yeah, I really think the only ones that would really complain are your bottom feeder, price comparison
Yeah.
people who are probably not your customer anyway.
Yep.
And the only other ones that are going to care are your longtime recurring customers that use you
Yep.
more frequently. And maybe some, property managers, things like that. They'll probably be the only groups of people who are really more or less, not as understanding about it.
Yeah.
But even then, I'd say 50% of them are going to be understanding because
Yeah.
they just get it. Everything's going up, but the problem is we're coming back to pre-COVID trend numbers, and it's like, okay, but the costs have not come back down
Yeah.
to pre-COVID numbers.
Nope.
But the volume of jobs and just general volume of work is back to pre-COVID numbers. So it's like, and guess what happened during COVID? A ton of service companies were formed. A ton of new service companies came out of that pandemic. During that pandemic, because there was such a need for additional, like you couldn't handle a volume in most cases. So now you've got more competition.
Yeah.
So you've got a lot more to worry about as far as that goes. And in a lot of these fly by night, the people who aren't taking the business seriously, they're going to fold. It's the weak are not going to survive.
Yeah.
They're just going to scrape by, and they're going to complain, and they're going to whine, and those are the people who make you look good, honestly. So they're not really a problem. They're an annoyance.
Yeah.
But they just make you look better. Because if everybody was awesome, everyone would be average.
Everybody was awesome. Everybody would be happy. That's an interesting little thought there. Might have to write that one down. So one thing you haven't talked about is your marketing strategy. So in these times when you're trying to navigate the rising cost, I think starting to look at diversifying your marketing strategy could help. Maybe dipping your toes in a few different avenues. When you're a small business, it's oftentimes that's a painful thing to think about, is having to try something new. I would first start by saying, if you've been in business a long time, you've got a lot of data to go off of, right? So let's say you've been in the business for 5 years or more. Look at the last 5 years of trends. Who are the people that are calling that you absolutely love to work for, right? What do they do? Where do they go? Where do they drive? We did this for our electrical business back in the day. We used a company, I believe it was called Melissa Data, and they took our past 5 years invoices and people that we worked for, and they told us, all right, your avatar is a 67-year-old white male who has a really nice first car and a secondary car that they really love. The average house is about $125,000. They told us their average income. They told us their political stuff. I'm like, okay, that's cool. Now what do I do with that? Right? That's my marketing strategy.
Mm-hmm.
Where do these people go? What do they do? What do they eat? Right? So they're typically they go to the gym. So we started looking at advertising at the gym, local gyms. If they're a specific type of car person, you can look at the dealerships that they go to and maybe try to work out something with them. You know, there's all kinds of different ways that you can look at marketing wise, other than your typical billboards and radio and TV that cost you a
Right.
fortune that yields very little. Organically, I know where you're going to go. Hey, let's talk about SEO and how you can build your online reputation. When we started doing heating and air, I tried for 2 years to get into the heating and air space in my area, and it was tough. I used my contacts, my people that we had done business for so long to build up that side of the heating and air side, and we ended up having 200 and something maintenance contracts when we finally sold off the heating and air side. But I'll tell you this: the people that were in radio in our area, they've been doing radio for a long time. They owned it. The people did TV, they owned it, right? But the internet, that was a whole other ball game. You can pay to play, and you can build it organically too. But again, there's so many other different avenues of marketing. I mean, shoot, just going back to the old door hanger, you know, we call it clover leafing, where I get some door hangers, and when I'm at a customer's house, once I finish that, I'll let them know, hey, Mrs. Jones, I'm just going to walk around to the neighbors real quick and put a door hanger on, giving them opportunity to do service just like you did. Is that okay with you? Yep. And the 5 houses that touch that house, I would physically walk and I would put a door hanger on their door. And you know how many calls I got from that? A lot. And I often get people that would actually come because they're watching you. They come to the door and like, can I help you? Oh yeah, I was just doing work for Mrs. Jones, and I just want to leave you a coupon here for business if you ever need us in the future. And I have people oftentimes, well, can you go ahead and come in and give me a price for doing some work right now? Yeah, let me call the office real quick and I'll get that taken care of for you, right? So that one right there was always a no-brainer. Clover leafing. Door hangers are cheap. It don't cost you that much money. And all it's going to cost you is another 10, 15 minutes of your time. And it can yield quite a bit of work. So that was another one. Anyway.
Yeah. I mean,
Love
I had a
pitching
note
marketing
on
too.
promotional strategies. Here's where I think so many businesses get it wrong. Okay, when it comes to promotional strategy, I've never understood this tactic. Offering people discounts, but only if you're a new customer. Like
Yeah, why
it's
not
that,
your other customers?
yeah, why not your loyal customers?
Yeah.
You know, and for me, I've reversed that. I'll have my specials every once in a while that attracts the new customer. But I don't give big discounts to people I don't know. They haven't earned that. You know, I feel that a loyal customer is one that earns the discount, you know, through that loyalty, you know. So I do more of the loyalty promotions, and I use that as a talking point. Even when I have a new customer come to me, they're like, "Oh, are you offering any discounts, or can I get a discount on this?" You know, whatever their pitch is as a customer. And I flat out tell them, I don't know you. You haven't earned that discount with me yet.
Yeah.
You know, and as we start moving forward, then I'll offer you a discount, you know. And I've had other agencies come to me and want to kind of white label my services and work for them behind the scenes because I know what to do and they didn't. And all they knew how to do is bullshit some customer into choosing them. And they're like, "Oh, I'm going to send you, 15 jobs a month, and all this stuff." And I'm like, until I see it, you're not getting a discount. I'm not going to discount on a promise. So, you could approach that, put that in a property manager's, situation where a property manager's calling you and like, "Oh, you'll get 10 units a month, pretty consistent." You know what? I call bullshit until I see it for a few months and I know it's consistent, then we'll talk discounts. But you need to prove to me that you have that volume to earn that discount.
Yeah.
That's
an interesting way to go
that's how
about it.
you build a relationship.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm one of those. I figured out how much am I willing to give away on every call, and that was my coupon, right? So I always put a $20 or $25 coupon. So even on the back of my business cards, I had a refer a friend program, right? So on the back of it, hey, give this to a friend, they'll get $20 off, and you'll get $20 off your future service as well. The referral cards were a pretty important thing. I actually, this right here, this one was gold. Right here.
Yeah, I'm not saying by any means don't do that.
Kitchen conversion magnets. This one's so old it has electrical detectives on it. So this one's probably late 2000s whenever I did that, because we changed over to service detectives. But and notice I've been using QR codes for a long time, but the next generation of this had a coupon right down here, $20 off your next service, right? You guys in the appliance world,
$20. Know what he said. $20 off your next service.
Your next service.
Repeat.
You guys in the appliance world, this is talking about, diversifying your marketing strategy. Why would you not? The kitchen conversion magnets are one that I always saw still on the refrigerator coming down the road. The calendars, they got pitched every year, right? But kitchen conversions, they always stayed on the magnet on the refrigerator. This was on our magnet. This magnet was on a refrigerator here in the office. But I remember still going to customers' houses years later, and they would still have this on the refrigerator. So find things that are still around a customer's house. That could be something you potentially be doing. But kitchen conversion magnets, that was gold right there.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Stickers.
So, I mean, there's lots of ways that you can.
Yeah. I always put panel stickers. Stickers on the electrical panel that had our business information, and then again it said on the bottom, $20 off your next service call. And I had tons of people that would always call me back from that. Not to mention, if they sold the house, the new owners would know, hey, you guys did some work here, so I thought I'd call you because you're familiar with the house. Why can't you put a sticker on a dryer? Why can't you put a sticker on? Some of you guys do water heaters, if you can or not, but there are all kinds of appliances that you work on. Why not put a sticker on it, right? And a coupon for a future service call. Again, find out how much you're willing to give away. But
obviously, when I need service, first place I'm going is my actual unit. I'm trying to figure out what's wrong with it.
Why do you think heating and air guys?
I'm going to look for a freaking number on that thing, to call.
Well, yeah, Kevin actually even says there, hey, Kevin, you guys still, they were traveling. Anyway, Kevin says that word from air conditioner. Yeah, heating and air guys have put stickers on appliances for years. Why not? Plumbers have been doing it on water heaters for years. Why not appliance repair guys? Why can't you put a sticker on that dryer? If you're going to put it on a washer dryer, you want to make it to be a nice one, right? Especially if you're going to stick it in a way. Just thinking off the top of my head, if your dryer ever breaks down, be sure to call EJ's Appliance Repair or something. But
right, yeah. Here's one from John, says he increased his price from $69 to $99, and there was maybe one kickback after the change. So moving your prices is not going to affect you as much as you probably think. So and shop cost your competitors. Just call around and ask them what their service is.
Think about what John just said. He increased from $69 to $99. That's $30 a service call. Let's say you run an average of 250 service calls in a year, and you collect a dispatch fee in every single one. That's
literally a 30% increase.
$7,500 extra dollars you're able to put towards the bottom line. That'll take care of your gas costs for a year.
Yeah.
Talk about defeating rising costs. Bravo, John. That's all I got to say about that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. 100%.
So,
all right. You've been able to hear it. We've got new pups in the house, and they're about 6 to 7 weeks old, and they're over here they're at that age now that they're kind of like tugging each other and kind of having
playing around.
It's all here and just if you
don't hear it too
that's
much.
Good. That's good.
Very, very little.
Crisp is working. So, man, this has been a good topic today.
Yeah. Let me see. Got one more comment. I know personally I would shop around, but if I were close But if it was close to competition and same great service, I would stay at a 30% increase. It's good advice. John says he puts a sticker right next to the model serial tag as customers go looking for that when they have issues. Absolutely. I mean, as close as you can.
Yeah.
But yeah, good talk. Good topic. So let's wrap it up. We'll see you next week on the Service Alliance Group podcast. And go out there.
We didn't say one cheesy dad joke today.
I know.
Wow. I was actually going to talk about diversifying your income strategies, right? And having different multiple sources of income. Just like I tried to start a hot ballooning service, like a hot balloon business, but it just didn't take off. So yeah.
Nice. All right. Well, with that, I'm going to put everybody out of their misery.
We had to tell at least one dad joke. We can't go through the whole thing without telling a dad joke.
Yeah, of course. All right, everybody. You have a great 2024 kickoff, and we'll see you next Tuesday.
Oh, before you get off this, if you watch this, be sure and like it. Be sure and subscribe on YouTube.
Yes, like and subscribe always.
Yeah, especially if today's been beneficial for you.
Click that bell on YouTube after you subscribe so you can get notified as soon as we go live. Because we love having you guys on. We love when you're engaged. We love when you're commenting. You know, it just makes it so much better for us. And you're not just talking to us. We're talking about topics that you want to actually hear and listen to. So, all right. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next week.